Welcome to SveNFL.
What's up, y'all?
It's Jonathan Rollins.
Excuse me, Sarah.
We're two Americans living in Sweden, talking about football. Yeah, man. We're back. It's summertime. I just got back from my Euro trip, my train trip with the kids. And now Schif's about to go on vacation. So we were thinking one thing I want to do this summer is go through this coaching changes and update y'all on what the teams are doing coach and strategy-wise throughout the summer. So we're going to figure out how to do it, how to get it done while Schif's on vacation. So
this is basically what you were doing while you were pretending to spend time with your children on a train trip. I was going to ask, how did this go? I know what you used as a distraction from the trip. You just answered that question.
Oh, yeah.
But what was it like to travel on a train through Europe with young children? Well, how was that?
Well, they're 11 and 8, so it wasn't so bad. It was really, really fun. I highly recommend it to anybody living in Europe that's listening to this to get I think it's called Euro Rail, and you get a pass, and then you could just basically you book your trips, but you pay to have, there's different packages, and we did one where for our 16 days of vacation, 10 of those are free travel days. So you just book your travel.
That's cool.
So we used traveling to go around in those trips and stuff.
But 11 and 8 is a very challenging age. I think I remember it as a phase where I felt like my kids were just old enough to know some stuff, but not old enough to know that they don't know shit.
I think they're a little older than that. I would say. I think because I'm still they still look up to us a bit,
right?
So they know they still look up to us for knowledge and support and stuff. I think a little bit older they might. I could feel Bash getting there. He's 11, and I could feel him starting to realize that I'm an idiot.
Right.
And that's when it's going to get, especially now with quick access to Google and AI and stuff like that. So they can really we used to have to go find out our parents are dumb through encyclopedias.
Right.
And now they got it in their fucking pocket with their phones to know that we're dummies. Or that there's so much knowledge we don't have, but then that also shows them that there's so much they don't have too. So it was cool, man. They got their little distractions, their tablets and stuff. We're playing little 20 questions games and stuff to pass the time. It was dope, and they like to see different things. So we went down through Germany, we went on the border. Shout out to the city of Strasbourg, France. Never heard of it. Never heard of it before. And it's a border town that has so much history in it. I think you would love it because it was it was occupied by Germany in the war. And then later it became this place after, the war ended and all this stuff. And America got involved.
Isn't there a Strasbourg, Germany as well?
I don't know, but there's a Strasbourg, France. I thought it was going to be in Germany when I went down, but it's on the border of Germany and France. And we went there, and there's so much. There's even some international location where all 150 something countries go and meet there in Strasbourg, a city I never heard of. It's what? And they have different meetings and shit. I don't know. It was really dope. That was cool. And then we went to Marseille, and then we went to Paris, and then we went to Amsterdam. And Bash said Amsterdam smells like lemon, huh? And he said it smells like lemon. I was like, son, it's not lemon. Don't eat daddy's cake.
Wow. That's hilarious.
This candy's not for you. I know it looks like it's for children, but it's not. Why is daddy hungry? Don't ask. No, I'm just kidding. But Amsterdam was dope, and then we went to Hamburg, and then on the way down, we stopped in Hamburg for one night, and it just so happened, we were wondering why the hotel was so expensive. It was the Schlager Festival going on in Hamburg.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know they have that. So it was a bunch of people, they were dressed like hippies. It was people dressed like hippies, 1970s, people with Afro wigs and colorful clothes and all this stuff. And
I've been to Hamburg. It's an interesting city.
Yeah. It was a good time, man. We had a blast. I highly recommend it. And it was free for the kids. 12 and under, free.
That's amazing.
Just book their shit. And
that's very cool.
Yeah, it's a cool thing to do with the family. And the train is not like you're on a flight. What you been up
My
to?
trip is not going to be free. We we are. I've been working mostly kind of on and off. I've done a few little 2-3 day trips inside of Sweden. But yeah, on Tuesday we're leaving for the U.S. So
Nice.
going down to Brunswick in the heat. It's gonna be hot out that door.
Say what's up to the president. Amat made that beat whenever we talk politics. We started with that spruced up presidential music.
Yeah, I don't know if the president wants to talk to me. We'll see. I don't know.
He's a great man, Schif Massara. A great man. I don't know what he thinks about me.
I think he probably likes me.
He likes me, but I don't like him.
Most people do. I'm a very likable guy.
If they're good people, they like me, and I like them.
So stupid.
So going out there, hanging out with the Trumpers out there.
Yeah, we'll be in Trump territory. I'm very curious to kind of talk to my family and see where they're at on the whole thing, and see if their positions have moved at all. Yeah, okay. I think I would like to talk to. It's always fun to talk to strangers too. Yeah, and I think I was thinking about this the other day. I like doing this thing sometimes. You probably have this experience where when you go back to America and you tell people like, oh, I've lived out of the country for quite a while. Yeah. I've been out of the country for about 19, almost 20 years. Despite the fact that we have the internet, Americans are so self-centered. They make it sound like you've been living on Mars for the last 20 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. And you can get them to say things that they might not normally say because they think you're not like tapped in, Mm-hmm. And you can kind of
we are tapped in,
and you can kind of play along with it. And so I plan on doing a little bit of that to see what I can learn.
Okay, I'm interested, man. Keep us updated.
Yeah, maybe we'll discuss that at the end, like how we're going to do this moving forward for the next couple of weeks. But I think maybe we start by obviously we've been away for a little while, and most, the NFL news cycle was pretty quiet. Until it suddenly was not.
Yeah, training camp, baby.
Honestly, I just kept keeping notes of things that were happening. And the first thing that I have on my list is Dolphins trading Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith to the Steelers in exchange for Mika Fitzpatrick. I mean, we talked about this personally, right? We talked about this on the phone, but we haven't spoken about it here. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I really like Jalen Ramsey. Because he's Jalen Ramsey. But, I mean, if a player want to go, I really, really like Mika Fitzpatrick. So, I think Jalen Ramsey was talking about moving to safety anyway. And in the last game, I did notice him getting, cooked a little bit when they put him in one-on-one situations. And they were blitzing a bit towards the end of the year, especially missing out on the defensive, on the edge rushers getting hurt and stuff. So he was getting a little exposed, but he's still Jalen Ramsey, man. He's a ball hawk. He's physical. He's big. So he's going to be missed. And the opposite of him was Fuller, who was hurt a little bit. So as a Dolphins fan, it's like, oof, what are we doing? And then getting rid of Jonnu Smith, who was really helped. He was like Tua's safety blanket towards the end of the season too. It didn't make sense to me. So, I mean, I feel oddly hopeful about the season regardless of that or despite that move, but it does feel like I can't justify it with the roster. I don't think the roster is better because of that move. I just think that first and foremost, the reason the season was quote unquote bad, even though it was at the last weeks we're still hoping to get in the playoffs. We still had our quarterback miss 6 games, and then the game when he did get hurt, the second string quarterback got hurt as well. And then we took somebody off the street. It's like, I was really hard on Mike McDaniel, and then I thought back about it. It's like, I don't know any coach that can take their a third string quarterback from off the street and then make it. I don't know how you can make it work. So,
well, now you got Zach Wilson in the building, so you're all good.
I think if Zach Wilson doesn't get hurt, then at least you can beat the Colts. You know what I'm saying? Like some of those games, if they had the serviceable second string quarterback, they could have won, beat the Colts or I think it was the Titans. They lost 2 winnable games while he was gone, and then yeah. So this and it feels like a make or break year for Mike McDaniel as well. And I don't know, man. I'm a little worried, but I do think Anthony Weaver is a star as a defensive coordinator, and having him back is more important than Jalen Ramsey.
I think the Mike McDaniel angle, we'll certainly explore that as we get closer to the season. We do our annual coaching. Hot seat list. Yeah. Because I would certainly consider his seat to be a little warmer. Yeah. Optimistically, I would say I'm of the opinion that Jalen Ramsey, despite being a great player, is really, it's the beginning of the end, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
You can kind of see that.
Yeah.
As far as the Jonnu Smith part of it, I think there is some logic in taking away too a security blanket, because last year the Dolphins were not the way we thought of them from the previous season, where they just felt like a fucking, juggernaut type of offense. And perhaps taking away that security blanket will help them get back to, like, Jalen Waddle was basically just like a complete non-factor for the majority of last season, which is weird. The presence of Jonnu Smith almost kind of eliminated the whole concept of Jalen Waddle as a second target. And hopefully they'll get back to what they were.
Or come up with something new. I'm hoping to come up with something new, man. And run the goddamn ball, man. The reason Jonnu Smith was getting so many touches is because they were using screens to supplement the run game. And it's like,
that's true.
You got to get to sometimes you don't outthink yourself. It's the Eagles. Look at the Eagles. Best team in football, best roster in football, because they built it inside out. Get your line right, and you can run the ball. I mean, they got Saquon Barkley, but get your line right. You got good running backs that could take advantage of a good line. So run the goddamn ball.
Well, as much as I can try to make sense of this deal, we're going to keep Miami in the spotlight here, because the next bit of news that we have to talk about is tight end Darren Waller coming out of retirement. They traded with the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because he was on the roster. Yeah.
For a tight end who hasn't played in 2 seasons. Is that correct?
It's like just win-win for the Giants.
And kind of sort of, I mean, there were some injury concerns with Darren Waller, but it also kind of, I hate to say this because it's usually kind of, I don't know, it usually doesn't turn out to be true, but there definitely seemed to be some genuine concerns that he just had fallen out of love with the concept of playing football.
He said that.
Didn't he say
himself?
That?
Yeah, he said that himself.
I thought so. I wasn't sure.
But he feels rejuvenated. I think he wants to make a check. So I think that money feels good to try to, get a little money in your bank account. Hopefully it motivates him enough to play well. But I don't know, man. He's not the best blocking tight end. He's better than like a Mike Gesicki, but he's not a fucking Gronk. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We'll see. It was a 6th round. It's like conditional or something like that. Seventh round conditional could be up to a 6.
Yeah,
we'll see. But I didn't like that move either. I don't know, man. But they do need a tight end. When I was looking back, I'll go back and watch games. The Dolphins need a tight end, and you got rid of Jonnu Smith, and now they seem like they're are panicking a little bit. I think they use a tight end almost like a receiver anyway.
But see, that's sort of I don't critique what they had to give up to acquire Darren Waller. No, and I don't even critique the idea of okay, well, Mika Fitzpatrick is out the door. Maybe we should go get another tight end. But why not go get a blocking tight end? You know what I mean? Yeah. To help the run game. Because this doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, I guess they will use Durham. They have Durham Smythe. I don't know. He's like a blocking tight end. I'm saying he's not a big name like that. He's not going to catch many passes. He will drop passes, but he can block. I don't know. We'll see, man. I'm wondering what they're gonna.
I'm a little worried about your Dolphins this year.
I'm a little worried about them too. You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not picking them to win in division.
No, of course not.
But we'll see. As fans, that's what we do. We wait and see.
Let's see. Von Miller signed with the Commanders. That's another guy chasing the check. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Honestly, the majority of the news that I have is criminal related. It's the off season. That's really what happens in the off season. We can start. can start with just,
I need a police siren. Woo! That's what I need.
or we can do the KRS-One. Whoop whoop. That's the sound of the police.
I will definitely.
We can put that in there.
I will definitely get that.
We start with Justin Tucker, suspended for the first 10 weeks of the 2025 season.
What did he do? No, I'm just kidding.
Obviously, for those of you who forgot, accused of sexual misconduct, 16 massage therapists. So 16 massage therapists gets you 10 weeks. Couldn't even muster up 1 week per offense, which is a little weird.
So it's like 0.7 or some shit like that.
Which is, it all winds up being kind of pointless, I guess, in some respects, because Tucker had already been cut by the Ravens.
Right. You think any team's going to pick him up?
He's coming off the worst year at what is supposed to be his primary job of kicking field goals. My guess is that you'll never see him again.
Okay. I was going to guess Cowboys.
I really don't see why. Why would you sign a kicker to your roster who was not at the peak of his powers, and knowing that he's going to have to sit for 10 weeks? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
It kind of feels like he's done.
Too. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably why they did that. They're like, all right, if you take this guy, then it's like you get the shame and you don't even get the player right away.
Yeah.
Unless you got a iffy kicker or a young kicker, a new kicker, then maybe you sign him and then see what happens throughout the year. But signing him is stupid. I don't know.
That would be dumb. Okay, Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is practicing, despite the fact that he has just been found guilty of what was it? The reckless driving charge. Remember, he was the one driving on the highway like a crazy person, and they had the accident. He has been sentenced to 5 years probation and 30 days in jail.
Jeez.
Interestingly,
that's one way to get out of training camp.
Well, interestingly enough, the jail thing, let's see, let me get the notes here. Right. 30 days in jail. He can serve those 30 days at any point over the next 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Never heard of that before.
Me neither. Well, I mean, you've seen stuff like judges letting people do military service and shit like that.
Sure.
I get it. So maybe he'll do it off season or do it if he gets an injury. Like, I'm out for 6 weeks. Let me go to jail. Let me get my jail sentence out the way since I'm missing the games anyway. But then you probably got to get rehab and stuff. Oh man. Well, that's nice of a judge doing that.
Another interesting criminal story. Jordan Addison, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, he has settled what was effectively a DUI that he got last year. He was in Los Angeles during the offseason for the premiere of Receiver. And I say effectively a DUI because when he was arrested, the LAPD discovered him asleep in a Lamborghini in the middle of the road.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you got to stop.
So because they could not prove that he actually drove the car into the middle of the road, the LAPD charged Jordan Addison with a crime that I've never heard of. And frankly,
been black on a Friday.
I've never heard of this crime, and frankly, it sounds like the name of Jonathan's sex tape. The official charge is called Wet Reckless.
Wet Reckless.
Reckless is the official charge.
So, like, if he was like asleep because he's narcoleptic, then he's dry reckless.
Yeah, sure.
Oh man, good thing he was lubed up. I had a situation like that before.
Yeah.
I went to McDonald's. I was drunk. First, I was after work, and then I went and got some. I had some drinks with people, and I, drank more than I realized. I didn't plan ahead, right? So then I was like, all right, I feel like I'm good. I don't remember getting in the car. I know I went through the drive-through only because of receipts.
Right.
So I went through the drive-through, ordered some food. I think at some point I realized, you know what? I'm not in the condition to drive. So I pulled over not far from the McDonald's. I ate my food, and I got in the back seat, and I took the keys out. No, I took the keys out, and I threw them in the back seat, and I was in the car, sleeping.
Wow.
And I came to in the middle of a conversation with a police officer.
Oh, shit.
I was just like, and I didn't know if I had admitted anything, but I knew I didn't want to admit anything. I almost wanted to ask for my lawyer. I don't have a lawyer. And this was in North Carolina too.
You just start screaming, I plead the fifth.
Yeah. No, it's not North Carolina. This is Jersey. Yeah. I plead the fifth.
Just like, sir, we're not in a courtroom. You can't say that.
We are talking. I was asking you about your day. I played the fifth. So I told her, like, I was just like, and then somehow I got the conversation to be about our past. The cop was prior military, and I was not long out the military. And then he he couldn't prove I was driving. Because I was like, I'm not saying I was driving. And I'm not, I'm obviously drunk. And I was like, so we good? Can I drive home? He's like, no, you can't drive home. What are you doing? I was like, yeah, of course. So I called Sandra. It was like 1 a.m, and she came and got me. We left my car on that side road in Jersey, and I didn't get in trouble somehow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
man.
a miracle.
Thankfully, the smart thing was throwing the keys in the back seat. He couldn't prove I drove myself there or anything. So he was just like, bro. Yeah, he told Sandra, you got to come get your husband or I'm taking him away. And she came and got me.
That's a good wife.
Yeah, man. And I was like, I was just like putting my head down, feeling
She was probably so proud.
Yeah. And this was like before Uber and stuff. Oh, so, yeah.
Well, at least you're not Quinshawn Judkins.
Okay. Junkins?
Brown's rookie running back just drafted this guy, Quinshawn Judkins. Judkins out of Ohio State, I think. Arrested for domestic violence.
Oh, no.
In the county jail, punched his girlfriend in the face in an airport.
In jail?
Lot. He may be out now, but
okay. I thought you said he punched her while he was in jail. Like he was in jail.
No. He punched her in the parking lot, in an airport parking lot.
Oh.
This was probably some backseat driver shit. Like she was probably saying, "You're going the wrong way," and he's like, "Shut up, bitch." Right?
Just mumbling, "Shut up, bitch."
And apparently she got out of the car and then she got back in and he punched her again.
What? What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the Browns need any more bad stories like this. I mean, it's like,
Isn't there a Deshaun Watson update on them too?
As far as I know, Deshaun Watson is just in the background.
Okay, I saw like something came up. I was on Blue Sky. I don't fuck with Twitter anymore, so I'm on Blue Sky and I saw something scroll. I was scrolling past and I saw
he got married this summer.
Oh, that's good, man.
So
glad for
him. Let's see what else we got.
He was dry reckless.
Exactly. Oh, wow, this is a crazy story. I don't know if you followed this, but you remember Pablo Torre, the podcast, the guy who kind of unraveled this Belichick girlfriend saga? Well, he's kind of done it again, but this time he's basically dropped a bomb on the NFL Players Association. This started with a report. It was like a competition between Pablo Torre and Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, trying to find out why. You remember the collusion scandal where,
coaches or
it was like when Deshaun Watson got that crazy fully guaranteed contract, and then there was this this conspiracy that all of the other owners had gotten together to try and like make sure it never happened again. And it kind of mostly centered around Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson, was sort of testing the market, and there was this weird situation where one of the best top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL is suddenly available.
Yeah. And nobody's talking about it.
And nobody wanted him, including the Falcons. Was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So they exposed this collusion scandal. They got a hold of these documents that shows that the NFLPA was essentially carrying water for the owners in this situation.
Wow.
Which is completely against the mission that they have to rep the players, obviously. But then, if that wasn't bad enough, this report led to another scandal where the head of the NFLPA, Lloyd Howell, was forced to resign after his rather dubious and large expense reports were revealed. And this is my favorite part of the story because this is the part that brings our two cities together, Miami and Atlanta. Okay. So you got evidence that they uncovered that in Miami, November 2nd, 2023, a car service bill for $738.82 was charged for transporting Howell from the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport to Tootsie's Cabaret in Miami Gardens.
First strip club I ever been to.
Famously the largest strip club in the world.
Is it bigger than King of Diamonds?
I don't know. They say it's the largest one.
Damn.
Now, the reason for the over $700 charge for this, essentially a cab, was that he had the driver wait outside of the strip club for 7 hours before returning him to his hotel.
What happened in there?
Yeah. And
7 hours. God damn.
This year, February 21st of 2025.
That's like 600 lap dances.
Yeah. There's another outing that took place at Magic City in Atlanta. Arguably the most famous strip club in the world. Yeah. Thanks to rap, obviously. But the NFL, so the charges included $2,426, which covered VIP room fees and multiple ATM cash withdrawals.
Oof, that's hand jobs. Damn, you should Sean Watson went with him. And these, the funny thing is that he submitted these as on his expense report. He wasn't paying for that shit.
Despite the fact that he gets paid millions of dollars to do this job, he wanted to be reimbursed for this, and he placed it under. He submitted the expense report under the label of, quote, player engagement event to support and grow our union.
Wow. How many were players with him?
I don't know. Clearly, yeah.
Yeah, it must have been.
They didn't say who. So he resigned, obviously, and then the sort of second in command, the NFLPA's chief strategy officer, J.C. Treader, also stepped down, citing professional delusionment with the organization's trajectory. That was his official.
Is Howell a black dude?
He is, I think.
Okay.
I think he is.
Because those places ain't playing pour some sugar on me.
No.
It's not pour some sugar on me strippers. It's fucking, glow. It's some Glorilla and Trick Daddy.
I would argue that this is the beginning of a story with legs. For those of you who are not really paying attention to this side of things, you have the owners on one side, and then you have the players association on the other side. Yeah. Effectively, they work together to try and do what's best for the game. But there's obviously an antagonistic relationship between these two organizations, especially in scenarios where the NFL is clearly pushing to add an 18th game, and the players want to be fairly compensated for that. Some of them don't even want that. So it's like, this is a real problem. We've always felt like the Players Association was kind of weak.
Yeah. And don't forget like CTE and, stuff like that. And then like contracts get nullified.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget the player's name. The offensive lineman got injured, and they just $10 million out the door.
Yeah, because he got injured at a private gym or something. Yeah.
The Denver Broncos. Guaranteed contract.
It's a crazy story, and I don't think it's over. I think it will. I think we're going to see more of it.
Nice. I'm following that, man. Thanks for that.
There's other stories that I think are kind of not as interesting as that. But in quarterback news, two funny stories. Will Levis.
Yes.
Season-ending shoulder surgery.
Really?
basically solidified what we already knew. The Titans tried to pretend like this was going to be a QB battle, but it was always going to be Cam Ward for QB1. I don't think anybody, I don't know if any of you know, but he's from the U.
Yes.
On a personal note, this is not an important story, but it just popped up and my family laughed because for those of you who listen, you know that for some reason my daughter has chosen to be a Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Yeah.
We recently got news that the Cincinnati Bengals signed a new backup quarterback, former Falcons disappointment Desmond Ridder. So for all those years that my daughter has been making fun of the Falcons for not playing well, I'm kind of hoping that Desmond Ridder has to play meaningful snaps for the Bengals this year, just so that I can give it back.
Yeah. Hey, it's a rite of passage.
And then my favorite offseason story, and obviously I have not, I have held back. I posted it on the Facebook thing. I think this is pretty cool. First Swedish football player to commit to the University of Georgia. He's part Swedish, part Cameroonian. Cameroonian. That makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, pretty cool.
That's dope, man. Shout out to him, man. He's welcome to talk on the podcast. We'll go bring him on.
That was my first thought. I was like, we got to get a hold of this guy, bro.
Let's figure it out. We can figure that out. It's not going to be.
We must know somebody who knows him. I think he played most of his high school ball in the States.
Somebody listening will know somebody. Sweden ain't that big.
There's another guy who was training with the Bulldogs who I think played for Iowa.
Okay.
A white guy. I don't remember what position he played.
Okay.
But I saw he was trying out for the Bulldogs. Because I saw him, he was wearing the Bulldogs helmet, but he had on an Iowa jersey.
Oh, nice.
So I thought that was kind of
representing, huh? Even though fuck Iowa.
Fuck all the time. We're gonna fuck them.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, all day, every day. And our final bit of criminal news: convicted sex offender Donald Trump is trying to force the Commanders to change their name back to the Redskins. Oh, yeah. The Commanders are seeking public funds to redevelop the old RFK Stadium as well as the surrounding area. It's a massive project. It's like way more than the stadium that is intended to revitalize what is effectively a forgotten area and create a ton of jobs. And
it's rough over there, yeah,
and whatnot. Trump has stated that he loves the plan to bring.
I love the plan
to bring this part of DC back to life, but he would prefer it if they could merge that plan with one of his core missions of making racism seem cool again.
Yeah. Because he's already, for context, he's trying to change military bases back to Confederate general names like Fort Hood and Fort Bragg and stuff like that.
Sure.
So, he's also go right into it. It's the same thing.
One of my favorite off-season stories, which is not football related at all, and I really hope that this happens. It's like a comedy of the absurd waiting to happen. Trump is trying to figure out a way to put his face on Mount Rushmore.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. But there's an amazing, for anybody who has access to the New York Times, you should go read this article, because there's this amazing story that breaks it down between the idea of should he and could he, right? Or should he do this? Like based on like, are we really going to put his face up on the Mount Rushmore? But then the other side of it, which is even more fascinating, which is like such a trap waiting for Trump, is he has like just about every geologist in the world telling him the original construction of Mount Rushmore was so dicey. There are so many cracks in the actual mountain. If you try to add your face to this thing, there's a very good chance the whole thing will just collapse and fall off the side of the mountain. And I'm like, Please do it. Please do it. Like, does that not sound like the funniest story of all time?
Yes, man. Yes.
I want it so bad.
I heard the first thing that they said when he was like asking about it was
what? That nigga's tripping. Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This story from the Commander's perspective is kind of interesting because obviously, there were a lot of people who who didn't make the connection that Redskins was a racist trope. Yeah. It is true that actually Native Americans, the history of the name Redskins is kind of almost like a polar opposite of the N-word in a way, right? Mm-hmm. So white people used it as a slur, and then black people reclaimed it, right? It went the other way. Redskins is what Native Americans used to refer to themselves as.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know
and then white people kind of took it and turned it into a slur.
Okay.
So a lot of white people who think that you should go back to calling it Redskins use this argument that, well, that's what they called themselves, so it's not actually racist.
Well, without asking them, like, hey, man.
Well, that's the other part of the story, which is a bit misleading, because you're going to see these articles out there that tell you that a majority of Native Americans do not find the name Redskins to be racist. What they're not going to tell you is that poll, the people in that poll were people who identify as having Native American heritage. So like me, yeah. Like you and I, like I'm personally, I don't know what the percentage is, but I know that my great grandmother is a Cherokee Indian. Yeah. So that means I have Cherokee blood. And if I happen to be as racist as my, fellow cohorts that I grew up with, then I might be one of those people that say, I'm part Indian, and it doesn't offend. I don't think it's offensive.
Part Indian.
So you know how Americans are. It's like you can be 1% and you're going to claim it. So I don't know. The reality is that the name, the commander's name has the fans of the actual team have started to embrace the name, because they now have gotten rid of Dan Snyder.
Got a good quarterback.
And they got a good quarterback, and they're winning
Winning games, yeah.
Winning games changes everything. And if they keep winning, nobody's going to give a shit. Like, they're just going to roll with Commanders, and that'll be that. The fact that Trump is trying to stick his nose into this is...
And they can't forget that this dude always had a hard-on for the NFL, and they wouldn't allow him into that little club of owners. And he's been trying to fuck with them ever since, even joining the USFL and all of that stuff. So people can't forget, this dude he don't care about the NFL. He cares about himself, man.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we'll take a break now, and then we'll come back, and I'll hop into a coaching deep dive on the changes, because last time we did was 2021 or 2021, and now we're doing it 2025. 4 years later, how's the NFL change? So we'll do that now. The NFL has changed, y'all.
I like that. That's good. Change is sexy.
A lot of coaches been put to bed since 2021.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
No, we did this back like the second season of SveNFL, man, and we're on season 6 now, man. And the league's changed, man. It's a fluid league. It's one of the best things about it is that it changes all the time. Every off season, they try to improve the product for the fans and make it more profitable for themselves, as we do in America. And it's been so much change, man. Since 2021. There's been head coaching changes, obviously, coordinator changes, and that's the stuff I'm going to focus on in this whole series is the head coach, the offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, and the schemes that they're going to use and the style of play. So it's going to be a lot of changes that we'll go through now. And I'll go by divisions.
I like this because I think it will help me. I'm in this mode right now where I'm thinking a lot about what I'm going to do by way of my fantasy football draft.
Okay.
And since I've been exposed to this fantasy football, one of the things that I feel like I've learned over the last couple of years is that I want players who play for coaches that I like. Or I want to pick players who play for coaches that I trust. I want to pick players who play for coaches who have particular schemes and setups and like who the coach of the team is in the last 2 years has affected who I've decided to draft in fantasy football.
Okay, and you've done well these last couple of seasons.
It's true.
So it's wow. Because and if you know me, you know that I focus a lot on coach quarterback combo as an indicator of team success, and that makes me feel
like I'll give you a clear example. You can't trust Sean Payton.
You can't trust Sean Payton
in fantasy football. You cannot trust Sean Payton. And you can't trust Kyle Shanahan because he always lies about who's injured.
That's good.
So
I think one when you mention those two offensive coaches who kind of want to be known for being like an offensive genius, then they won't let your players shine.
No.
So watch out for that.
It's those wannabe offensive geniuses too, like Arthur Smith, because he famously, especially when he was at Atlanta, and everybody was like, "Why do you never throw Kyle Pitts the football?" And he's like, "I'm not playing fantasy football. I don't care about your fantasy football team."
Yeah, I just hate it. I hate your fantasy football.
he said that in a press conference. It's
I remember that.
Okay, fine. I'll stop drafting players who play for Arthur Smith then.
Yeah. Damn. Well, we all know that the NFL is a win now, and I think obviously that is why there's so much changes.
Someone should tell the Jets that.
They're overdoing it.
Wait, win now?
You don't mean win in 10? Win in 10. That rhymes.
Okay, now. Oh, now. Okay, now. Okay, got it.
You know what? If we look at the Jets are the scapegoat of New York, man.
That's true.
Obviously, the Bills are the shining star of New York. The Jets are looked at as this losing fucking organization, but the Giants are just as bad over the last decade, if not worse. And they slide under the radar because
it's those two Super Bowls that kind of trick you into thinking that they're still a relevant franchise, but they've been more or less outside of those two Super Bowls, they've been a joke.
Yeah, man. But yeah, there's kind of a musical chairs going on, and then there's these coaching trees that get the love, McVay. So you'll see that reflected as well. And when these hot coaches come out, and then they get poached, these hot staffs. So we'll see all of those changes. And we're gonna do. I'll go through the AFC first. We're gonna focus on head coaches, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. Like I said. AFC East coaching changes since we last did this. The Buffalo Bills. The Bills in 2021, they had Sean McDermott. Brian Dable was offensive coordinator. Leslie Frazier, remember that guy? Was defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Now it's 2025. Sean McDermott, still the head coach. He's becoming one of the longest tenured coaches. But the offensive coordinator is now Joe Brady, which I think is going to continue to catapult Josh Allen to another level. I think that's why last year he hit his fucking stride. I mean, obviously he was the MVP, but Joe Brady, I think, is the reason when they got that. Who was it before that had the temper tantrum? Bringing Joe Brady in is what I think unlocked. He because Josh Allen stopped throwing interceptions. But that's a whole nother thing. But Bobby Babich is now the defensive coordinator. But I don't know if that matters so much because Sean McDermott seems to be the engine behind that defense. I think you're always going to have a good defense if Sean McDermott is or decent defense.
Right.
So that means there's been changes in offensive and defensive coordinators since the last time we did this. Dolphins in 2021. Brian Flores was head coach. Offensive coordinator role was shared. That was the year they did that genius move. Eric Stutesville, you know how that works all the time, and George Godsey. Remember, Brian Flores used to coach for the Patriots, and then they tried that, and it was a fucking disaster. And then he was like, you know what? Let's try this.
Crazy.
And he's like, oh, you know what? Let's sprinkle in a little bit of quarterback controversy as well. Let's just have it all. Two coordinators, two starting quarterbacks.
Let's have a meeting on a boat. See how that goes.
Josh Boyer was defensive coordinator back then as well. So in 2025, was there any consistency? No. Mike McDaniel is now the head coach. Frank Smith is offensive coordinator, but Mike McDaniel obviously kind of like McDermott was. Mike McDaniel calls plays and whatnot. And Anthony Weaver is the shining star defensive coordinator right now. So that means everything changed in Miami since the last time we did this. New England, 2021, Bill Belichick. Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator. And Bill Belichick also was the defensive coordinator then. 2025, Vrabel's head coach. Josh McDaniels is back, offensive coordinator. And Terrell Williams is defensive coordinator. And I don't know much about him. We'll talk about him when we dig into these staffs. So that means everything changed in New England, who shafted Gerard Mayo. After saying such glowing things about him being the future. He didn't help himself out at all with his coaching. Jets, 2021, Robert Saleh, head coach, man. He was like, let's go get Zach Wilson and make this thing happen. Mike LaFleur was offensive coordinator. And Jeff Ulbrich was defensive coordinator. That sounds like a good-ass staff. Didn't work out. 2025, Aaron Glenn is head coach. Got poached from the Lions. Tanner Engstrand is the offensive coordinator. And Steve Wilkes, remember that guy?
Yep.
Defensive coordinator. He's the reason that the 49ers lost the Super Bowl. So that means
according to some.
According to one. So head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, all changed. AFC East looks so different now. The only team that's consistent, Buffalo Bills, and look what they do. Consistently win that fucking division.
That's
AFC
true.
North may be the most consistent of all of the divisions. Ravens, John Harbaugh in 2021. Greg Roman was offensive coordinator. Don Martindale was the defensive coordinator. Harbaugh still head coach. Ty Monken is now defensive coordinator. And
he's the offensive.
I'm sorry, offensive coordinator. I got that wrong. And then Zach Orr,
former Bulldog, not a big deal.
and Zach Orr is defensive coordinator. So that just means coordinators change, and that's not a bad reflection on the team. It's just that they're a good team and they get poached. Even though they did fire Roman.
At the time when they did that, the Ravens offense was being criticized for being a little too old school, a little too predictable, a little too boring. And as Lamar Jackson began to not just evolve but improve as a player, it felt like Roman was not really the right man for the job. And at the time when they fired him and they got Todd Monken was coming off of back-to-back national championships with the Georgia Bulldogs and was essentially running an offense in
Style,
at least from the collegiate perspective, one of the most unique offenses in college football, where, for me, being a Georgia Bulldog fan, was so used to a team that just focused on running the football. Like, we as much as Ohio State and Miami have been thought of as, or LSU as wide receiver U.
Yeah.
Georgia was running back U. Yeah. And Todd Monken came in and said, yeah, we're still going to do that, but that's not who we are. We're going to hit you in ways that, like, he brought a whole new identity to Georgia that I had never seen before. So I think that's part of what got him the job in Baltimore.
And they've been shining since. Cincinnati Bengals have the best coach in the NFL, and Zach Taylor. Brian Callahan in 2021 was the offensive coordinator, and Lou Anarumo was the defensive coordinator. Now, Zach Taylor still head coach. Dan Pitcher's offensive coordinator, and Al Golden, former coach of is now the defensive coordinator. There, he's coming from the collegiate game back into the NFL. So we'll see how that.
I would say he is the most important person to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
In this division, because
big shoes to fill.
We just finished watching the most recent season of Quarterback on Netflix.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
And it is kind of fascinating to be reminded. I mean, you had Joe Burrow doing things that no other quarterback had ever done in NFL history. I think it was like 8 or 9 games in a row with over 200 something yards and multiple touchdowns. Like, he was having an MVP season, scoring. They were averaging like over 30 points a game.
They had to, yeah.
And yet they just kept losing because their defense couldn't fucking stop anybody.
Yeah. And the coach makes bad decisions. Also.
The dude they brought in to change the defense,
Al Golden.
Al Golden, he is definitely somebody to keep an eye on this year.
Yeah, I like that. Cleveland Browns in 2021, Kevin Stefanski, coach, Alex Van Pelt, offensive coordinator, Joe Woods, defensive coordinator. Now, Stefanski's still there, but Tommy Reese is offensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator. That might have been their best call, switching out for Jim Schwartz, because he's just a dude. He's that dude.
Right.
So that's both changes. And then Steelers, Mike Tomlin, head coach in 2021. Matt Canada was OC, and Keith Butler was DC. Now, Tomlin's head coach, Arthur Smith, OC, Terrell Austin, DC. So changes there. AFC South. Was that all the coaches remain the same over 4 years in that division? Head coach. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
All four in that AFC.
I would say, again, as a bit of I think Zach Taylor's definitely on a hot seat. And I think Tomlin too.
I think the Rooneys love him, so I think the fans might be tired of him, but
I think the fans are tired of
he was talking about how he just walked over to the Rooneys and like, hey man, can I hire Brian Flores? He's like, sure, you want him? So that was a good conversation to see how close. I watched the interview with the Pivot podcast. It's a really dope interview. I think I sent it to you back then.
I love Tomlin, and I think if they move on from him, we've said it many times on this pod, he'll get hired immediately. But I do think the fans are tired of the mediocrity.
Yeah, if mediocrity is making the playoffs, or winning having winning records every season. I hate that when I hear these fans like, shut the fuck up, man. I'm a Dolphins fan. All of y'all, shut your asses up, okay?
Yeah.
AFC South, the most
the most elite division in football.
Yeah. In 2021, David Culley, remember that guy who they were trying to keep Deshaun Watson around? He was the head coach then. They got stuck with him, and that Tim Kelly was offensive coordinator. Lovie Smith was defensive coordinator. Shout out to Lovie Smith, man.
In an ideal world, you don't want a loss. You want to win. But if you can't get the win, and sometimes you sell for the tie. A lot of football left to go in the season.
Through a wall for that man. That's how you get. That's how you get people to go through a wall.
I want to run through the wall right now. If I didn't have his headphones on, God damn it. Now, it looks a little more stable. D'Amico Ryan's head coach, Nick Caley, offensive coordinator, Matt Burke, defensive coordinator.
Doing a great job.
So that's the changes all around there. Colts, 2021, Frank Reich, head coach, Marcus Brady, OC, Matt Eberflus, DC, back then. 2025, Shane Steichen, head coach, Bob Cooter, offensive coordinator, and Lou Anarumo. Why is your name Jim Bob Cooter?
Why does he sound like he was named after a character on the Dukes of Hazzards?
Is that Jim Bob Cooter? But
that is an insane. I'm sorry, but that is an insane name. That is really.
It sounds like either it's like some type of rodent, or it's like a slang for some loose girl out there. She got a Jim Bob Cooter.
His parents need to be interrogated. That's like.
He's named after some uncles that put together. They have 3 teeth. It's like.
I mean. Anyway.
So he's their OC, Lou Anarumo, DC. It sounds like an upgrade on all fronts there. But we'll see, man. Steichen was the Eagles' offensive coordinator. That's where they got him from. Jaguars, 2021, they had the best coach in football history, Urban Meyer. And then Darrell Bevel was OC. Joe Cullen was DC. Now it's Liam Cohen, first-year head coach. Yeah. Grant Udinsky is OC. And Anthony Campanile is the DC.
God, the Urban Meyer era provided so much content.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to. I almost kind of miss it.
I feel like I do once a year. I do what I call an Urban Meyer club finger bang on my.
Wow.
And then the Titans in 2021, Mike Vrabel was head coach. Todd Downing was OC. Shane Bowen was DC, and now Brian Callahan's head coach. Nick Holt's OC. Denard Wilson's DC. Is that none of the? It's the opposite of the AFC North. Nothing stayed the same in those divisions. tells you a lot. AFC West, Vic Fangio in 2021 was head coach. Pat Shurmur was DC. Ed Donatel was DC. OC was Pat Shurmur. Ed Donatel was DC. Now, Sean Payton, your boy, head coach. Joe Lombardi, OC. Vance Joseph, DC. Full overhaul.
Kind of an upgrade for the Broncos for sure.
Yeah.
And I think I as much as I dislike Sean Payton, I think he proves a lot of people wrong last year, myself included.
Same. I thought the league passed him by, and he just had to make it work. Yeah. It's very, very impressive. I think they're going to be good this year, too.
Yeah, agreed.
2021, Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, head coach. Eric Bieniemy, OC. The unhireable Eric Bieniemy. And Steve Spagnuolo was DC. Now Andy Reid, head coach. Matt Nagy, OC. Steve Spagnuolo, still one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. So the only change was OC because Bieniemy was trying to get some proof that he's a good coach, and he's kind of he's in the college game now. Yeah. Raiders, John Gruden was head coach in 2021.
Whoa, remember that?
Yeah, they sent the email out and fucked everything up. Rich Bisaccia, remember that guy?
Yes.
He was interim head coach that year as well. Greg Olson was OC, and Gus Bradley was DC. In 2025, Pete Carroll, the enemy of all gum, is head coach. Chip Kelly is OC, and Patrick Graham is DC.
Chip Kelly also coming out of the college game to work with the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of white OCs, black DCs seems to be the moves. Not that many black offensive coordinators. Just throwing it out there.
You know, maybe you guys are known more for your violent tendencies. Is what they're trying to say.
It feeds into stereotypes, man.
Feeds into the stereotype of the angry black man.
Yeah, and the cerebral. No, we can't be cerebral enough to like come up with offensive concepts. It's like, what's up with this? Just throwing it out there.
I think the Raiders are going to be fun this year. I don't know if they're going to be good, but I think they're going to be fun.
Oh man, Pete Carroll's always fun. 2021 Chargers, Brandon Staley head coach. Joe Lombardi OC. Ronaldo Hill DC. You can tell by the names. We're talking about
Brandon Staley, man. That guy had some serious deer in headlights press conference moments where he looked like he was way, way in over his head.
Yeah, out of his league, over his head, and all of that stuff. Underwater. 2025, a little more stable. Jim Harbaugh, head coach. Greg Roman, OC. Jesse Minter, former player, DC. Former player. I think he's black, too. So that's the AFC. We know all of those changes happened, and those we can see the stability of those teams based on the changes over those 4 years. And then the NFC, we have NFC East. Shout out to the NFC East, best division in football easily. No, I'm just kidding. NFC East might surprise some people. Dallas Cowboys
certainly the most talked about division in football.
Definitely, man. America's team is over there. Mike McCarthy was head coach in 2021. Kellen Moore was OC. Dan Quinn was DC. Damn. Both of them are now head coaches.
That's true, actually.
2025, Brian Schottenheimer is interim head coach. I don't think he's going to last long. I could be wrong. Clayton Adams is the OC, and Matt Eberflus is DC. I would never have hired Matt Eberflus. I guess he's not going to be doing clock management anyway as a DC. The Giants,
no, but I think he may be a great example of a guy who
just maxes out at a coordinator.
He wasn't ready for the big chair,
or maybe never will be. That's okay.
Maybe
guys.
never will be.
It's okay, you know. 2021 Giants. Joe Judge, head coach. Jason Garrett, OC. Everybody loves him. And Freddie Kitchens was DC. No. I'm sorry. They fired Jason Garrett from OC during the season, and then Freddie Kitchens came in and took his place. Patrick Graham was DC. 25, Brian Daboll, head coach. Mike Kafka, OC. Shane Bowen, DC. Eagles, Nick Sirianni was head coach 2021. each individual. Shane Steichen was OC. Jonathan Gannon, DC. Both of those guys now head coaches poached from that staff. That's always a good sign. Nick Sirianni still head coach. Now it's Kevin Patullo and Vic Fangio, OC-DC. Commanders. Back then, they were the Washington football team, and they had Ron Rivera as head coach, fresh off of brain surgery, and proved that brain surgery can make you make bad coaching decisions. And then Scott Turner was OC. Jack Del Rio, remember that guy, was DC.
Yeah.
And now Dan Quinn's head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, is OC. And Joe Witt is DC.
Did a great job in his first year, Dan Quinn, with the Commanders. We'll see, though. I have some takes on this season.
Oh, you think they might go full Cliff?
Well, you know who they remind me of? They remind me of I don't remember what years it was, but that 2 year span for the Minnesota Vikings where they won 10 one-score games and then they had another season where they lost 10. If you go back and look at last season for the Washington Commanders, almost all of their games from that, remember the Chicago game, the Hail Mary?
The Hail Mary,
and they only won that because the DB made a huge mistake, right? They win that game, and then from there, almost every game they played was a one-score game. Yeah. And that is not a sustainable way to win football games. They're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, punching above your weight.
You can't do that 2 years in a row. So I think there's going to be I think things are going to regress to the mean for them this year.
Okay. NFC North, we got the in 2021, Matt Nagy was head coach. Bill Lazor, OC. Sean Desai, DC. 2025, Ben Johnson. Everybody loves him. He's not a head coach. With DeClan Doyle as a offensive coordinator. I wouldn't name my child DeClan. Just throwing it out there.
You think that's worse than Jim Bob Cooter?
I think DeClan is like you're naming a racist organization. Your child's name is...
If you wanted to tell me that you were racist without telling me you're racist, you
my
would name
son's name is
Jim Bob Cooter. But if you wanted to tell me without telling me, you just call him Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Oh, come over. Hey, DeClan. You know who I love more than anything in this world?
DeClan.
More than anything in this world. I would go out and die for DeClan.
Let me get a t-shirt. This says I heart DeClan.
Hey, the only way it could make it worse is if he spelled the DEKLAN, but it's DEC. DeClan Doyle, offensive coordinator. He's married to a black woman. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Dennis Allen is a defensive coordinator.
He owns a black woman.
I kept myself from saying that joke, and you said it for me. I really appreciate that. That joke went in my head and went out, and then you said it. Great minds. Detroit Lions, man. Dan Campbell was head coach 2021. Anthony Lynn was OC. Aaron Glenn was DC. You know what's crazy? Anthony Lynn was let go, and then they brought in Ben Johnson since then, who was poached, and Aaron Glenn was poached. That's a good sign for Dan Campbell. Now Dan Campbell's still head coach. John Morton is now offensive coordinator, and Kelvin Shepard is DC.
But they're another one of those teams I'm worried about. They have lost 7 coaches in this offseason. Just this offseason alone, they've lost 7, at least 7 coordinators. And they won 15 games last year. You're not going to do that 2 years in a row.
No.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
I've got controlled fury. And,
that's true.
I'm ready to go.
I think that's all that matters. In 2021, Matt LaFleur was head coach of the Packers. Nathaniel Hackett, best offensive coordinator in the game, was the OC. And Joe Barry was DC. Now, Matt LaFleur still head coach. Adam Stenovich is OC. And Jeff Hafley is DC. I'm going to say that is like he just had to fire his coaches. It's not like they got poached to be coaches. I don't know if that's a good sign.
No.
2021, Mike Zimmer was head coach. This is what you were talking about. Clint Kubiak was the OC, and Andre Patterson and Mike and Adam Zimmer share defensive coordinator duties. Sounds a little bit nepotistic there. 2025, Kevin O'Connell, head coach. O'Connell used to be OC in LA. Wes Phillips is OC, and Brian Flores is DC.
I mean, you can. Yeah, that's such a massive upgrade.
Upgrade, hell yeah.
They've done such a good job.
The
big question mark is obviously the rookie, or effectively a rookie, JJ McCarthy, the quarterback.
Might have been a blessing in disguise that he got to sit and watch.
I certainly hope so for their sake, because I do like O'Connell quite a bit.
All right, then we got the NFC South. Has had a lot of turnover, of course. In 2021, your boy Arthur Smith was the head coach.
That was
for the
fun.
Falcons. Dave Ragone. Is it Ragone or Ragone? Well, he gone.
I think it was Ragone, and he is Ragone. Yeah.
Hey, Ragone. He was the OC. Dean Pease was the DC. Now Raheem Morris, part of that McVay tree. Head coach Zach Robinson is OC, and Jeff Ulbrich is DC. So that's full on overhaul for your squad. Then the Panthers, with the best owner in the league, had Matt Rule as head coach, interim, and then Joe Brady was OC, later replaced by Jeff Nixon. That is crazy. That is crazy. You had Joe Brady on staff, and now he's like a shining star in the NFL as offensive coordinator, maximizing a player that was already good, taking him to the next level. Insane that he was on the Panthers staff.
David Tepper's an idiot.
Yeah, and replaced the midseason too. Fired midseason and now a shining star. Phil Snow was defense coordinator. Never heard of him before or after. I'm just messing around. 25, Dave Canales is the head coach, who seems to be working out though. We'll see.
Sure.
If you go by quarterback play, he got better over.
Well, he seems to be working out in the sense that he made it through an entire year without being fired.
Yeah. But Brad Idzik is the offensive coordinator, and Ejiro Evero, which is he's been like heralded around the league as a good defensive mind. He's their DC. New Orleans Saints, your second favorite team in the league. Sean Payton in 2021 was the head coach. Pete Carmichael was offensive coordinator, and Dennis Allen was defensive coordinator. 2025, Kellen Moore, first year head coach. He was a Cowboys coordinator back then in 21. Doug Nussmeier is the offensive coordinator, and Brandon Staley is the defensive coordinator, who in 2021 was head coach. So they're like full of cast-offs, man.
Yeah, and their quarterback is Tyler Shuck. So good luck with that.
And one thing that we talked about back in 2021, and I hadn't thought about this because I wasn't as into the NFC South as you are as a Falcons fan, but you were saying at some point they're going to have to stop kicking the can down the road. I remember that. Yep. And it seems like now they finally stopped kicking the can down the road, and it's going to be a couple of rough years maybe for the Saints. They might be the worst team in the NFL. And you said it back then. That's crazy that it comes full circle like this. 2021, the Bucs were led by Bruce Arians with Byron Leftwich as offensive coordinator and Todd Bowles as defensive coordinator. Bruce Arians, I'm sure he's married to a black woman. Remember his staff? We looked at the staff. They're like all minorities. He had like a handicapped Asian woman as the linebackers coach or some shit like that. That's not true, that part. But he was really all about diversity. Now he's in the front office, and he's keeping it. He's putting his money where his mouth is, and he stepped down from head coach and put Todd Bowles as head coach, who's now head coach and defensive coordinator, and John Grizzard is the offensive coordinator. Bruce Arians, man, we love you, man. That's allyship right there.
Yeah, he
is
cool.
And finally,
John
NFC.
Grizzard.
That's a good name. Strong name.
Is it John or Josh?
Josh Grizzard. Did I say John?
Josh Grizzard. You're never going to believe where Josh Grizzard is from.
Where's he from?
Josh.
I guess Georgia.
No. Josh Grizzard from Lizard Lick, North Carolina.
Lizard Lick, North Carolina. You know who there's a lot of over there? The Klan.
Exactly. Josh Grizzard from Lizard Lick, North Carolina. This popped up in another podcast that I listened to, and I was like, this sounds fake.
Yeah.
Lizard Lake, Josh Grizzard from Lizard. My name's Josh Grizzard from Lizard Lake, North Carolina.
Lizard Lick. You know what? We know what we saying, Lizard Lick. We say if grandma didn't shoot it, I didn't need it. So we saying Lizard Lick.
It is
Wow.
smack dab in the middle of North Carolina, middle of nowhere.
Nice.
Hilarious.
All right, and we'll wrap it up with the NFC West. This is a mix of stability and changes. We got Cliff Kingsbury was the Cardinals head coach in 2021, and he was head coach and OC. And Vance Joseph was defense coordinator. Now Jonathan Gannon was poached from the Eagles, and he's the head coach. Drew Petzing from Lick Lizard, South Carolina. No, he's the offensive coordinator, and Nick Rallis is the defensive coordinator. The Rams, very stable organization. Sean McVay was head coach 2021. Kevin O'Connell was OC. Raheem Morris was DC. Does that show you something about Sean McVay? He's still head coach. Both his coaches were poached, but now Mike LaFleur is OC. And Chris Shula is the defensive coordinator. Look at that. That's something to be said about a LaFleur being related to another coach and a Shula who's from a coach family. Just throwing it out there about nepotism in the NFL. But I always believe that Sean McVay is going to put a good staff out there. Best coach in the NFL right now, 2021 was Kyle Shanahan. As head coach, Mike McDaniel was the offensive coordinator. D'Amico Ryans, defensive coordinator. Says a lot about Kyle Shanahan. Both of those coaches now head coaches. Kyle Shanahan is known as a coach that loves his staff and builds them up.
Right. Does not blame them for
No.
anything.
Oh, let's talk about some more nepotism. Kyle Shanahan is still head coach. Clay Kubiak is the offensive coordinator. Kyle Shanahan, for those who don't know, when we talked about his coaching tree, used to work for
Clint. Was it Clint
Is it
Kubiak?
Clint? No, it's a
Or no.
I forget his name.
There's multiple Kubiaks.
The Papa
involved.
Kubiak.
Papa Kubiak.
He had all of those guys down in Houston back in the day. I can't remember the old Kubiak's name. Gary Kubiak was the head coach back then, and he had Kyle Shanahan on staff. And now his son, Clay Kubiak, is offensive coordinator for Kyle Shanahan. And Robert Saleh is back after a disgraced run where he just completely lost control of his team in New York. And maybe he'll be back to making that defense top like they were. I think the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl. And then we got the just like fucking with you. Then the Seattle Seahawks. Last team we'll be doing 2021. Pete Carroll was head coach. Shane Waldron was OC, and Ken Norton Jr. DC. Another little nepotism there. And in 2025, Mike McDonald is head coach, poached from the Ravens. Clint Kubiak, OC. Another Kubiak, and
There's Clint Kubiak.
And Aiden Durd is DC. So that's it, man. We got the changes since 2021, 2025. It shows how the league switches around. It's pretty fluid. Another thing is coaches bouncing around. You got to see the different schemes, and people trying to either be familiar or try something different since then, or owners getting tired of what's happening and just resetting. So it shows how fluid the league is, and it shows a lot of offensive movement too. If you see the coordinators that bounced around that are now head coaches, seems like a lot of head coaches are offensive minded. That's where the league's going right now. I think it's going to be a switch now. Defensive coaching is going to get back to the forefront, and we'll start seeing head coaches that are defensive minded. I think.
I think it's kind of fascinating to see how you got a lot of, in that time span, guys who were coordinators who became head coaches.
Yeah.
And now they're coordinators again. Like it didn't work out. Like that's a pretty common story. Like how much, how ready are they?
I think and then we've talked about. I've kept like kind of a peripheral eye on the black head coaching, the lack of black head coaches. But I think when the league goes more, obviously by looking at this, when the league does have that shift to defensive coaching or defensive mindset getting back to the forefront, then you'll probably see more black head coaches. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because the defensive coaches, we got what? As defensive coaches, Sean McDermott, D'Amico Ryans, Who else? Because then you're like, I don't know.
Defensive head coaches?
Raheem Morris, yeah. I'm just trying to think of guys who are defensive and then now they're head coaches. It's not that many right now.
Dan Quinn,
Sean McDermott, D'Amico Ryan, Raheem Morris,
Todd Bowles.
Yeah, see, and those are like the black coaches.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Dan Quinn's an honorary black.
What's his name? Allen for the Jets. See what I mean? That's when yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing black offensive coaches if that'll ever happen. I think somebody like Raheem Morris is more of a blend. He's part of that McVay all football group of the football nerds.
That's true. He is thought of more of as a defensive coordinator, but he's held many other positions besides that throughout
And I
his
think
career.
the best ones are the ones that are flexible, like John Harbaugh, who's a special teams coach.
Right.
And then just, knows football. Mike Tomlin's also a defensive coach. He was started out as a cornerbacks coach or whatever. All right, but yeah, that's it, man. That's the league now. And the next episode, I'll be doing I think I'm starting with the NFC East. I am starting with the NFC East because the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So we're starting with the NFC East, and then I'll be going clockwise through the NFL, and then we'll do AFC starting with the AFC East and go clockwise. So East, South, West, North. That's how we're going to do it.
And then,
All
of
right.
course, we discussed maybe off mic how we're going to handle the next couple of weeks. I'll be out of town. We're thinking maybe we keep going.
Yeah.
I'll stay up to date on the news and maybe record some news updates separately that I can send to you, and then you can tag that on as you continue to do the coaching breakdown, which I think is really good.
So you'll know what the goal is for you to understand the team coaching and the coaching philosophy, and then the style of play that they're going to have and what it is. So I'll be breaking that down, and Skip will be keeping you updated on the news, and we'll keep.
And who knows? I'm going to be in the Jacksonville area. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to waste the day to try to go to Jaguars training camp, but we'll see. Also, I'm not sure what would I learn there. Honestly, I mean, they do have a whole new. I mean, they are an interesting team to keep an eye on. This is I mean, so many excuses get made for Trevor Lawrence over the last several years. Is he a generational talent? And they blamed it on Urban Meyer. And they blamed it on this. They blamed it on that. And now you've got this weird. You got the new coach and the new GM, and how they're going to use Travis Hunter. Like there's a lot of weird questions.
I think they're talking about Liam Cohen as kind of a quarterback whisperer. I forget where he was before Tampa Bay, but wherever he was, I
can tell you where he was before Tampa Bay, and part of why they call him the quarterback whisperer is because he was a coordinator for the LA Rams. He was the guy who spent 48 hours with remember that short little stint that Baker Mayfield played with the Rams, and he had that one game where he had this comeback win.
I remember that.
That it was those two where he was like, look, we're just going to figure out a game plan for you for this game, like, because they knew it was kind of a temporary thing. He got a lot of credit for that, and then of course he's teamed up with him again in Tampa Bay, and now he's going to try to whisper into Trevor Lawrence's ear.
You can't get into his ear with all that hair.
He's so tall too,
Maybe he's going to do a Herbert and cut his hair off, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh shit."
That would be weird.
Yeah, they'll be like, damn, his neck is long. All right.
He shouldn't have done that.
That boy shouldn't have did that, man. Bring in the Klan. Let's talk to the Klan, man. Bob Cooter. What was his name?
Get Jim Bob Cooter.
Get Jim Bob Cooter on this, man.
And the Klan on the phone.
Yeah, Jim Bob Cooter and the Klan. I love the Klan. Thank y'all so much for checking us out. We're glad to be back, and stay tuned for more updates and on the league and some information on coaching. It's been fun, man. I have been Jonathan Rollins.
And I have been Schif Musara.
With SveNFL. Peace.
Later, y'all.